Hi, I'm telling you what's coming in this video. And you may say, who are you to tell us anything? And I answer, I am a common guy. I am a simple human being. I've written the first person words of God for 20 years now. And God has taught me many things. And I say unto you, God is not what you think. God is not who you think. And the time is now for many things to change. And the earth will not be as it is. And you will no longer be seeking the acceptance of other people, trying to make a living, squandering what you have. You see, we haven't known. We have not gone into God. We haven't sought the mind of God. People of earth have been placated with so little. Raped the earth, raped each other, raped the mind, caring only about money, control, and purpose of their personal fulfillment. You may not want to hear these words. I understand. You see, until someone's consciousness changes, until someone's circumstances changes, inertia sets in. And we become stiff-necked Israel. Or that's the way the Bible calls it. Maybe you're a Bible. There's more than one. We haven't loved each other. We haven't known what love is. We've been purposeful to exert our free will and exalt the mind that controls us, because we haven't even known that God is a race. We've been told otherwise. God is a race of people with one consciousness, each with individual uniqueness. God is a race of people of light, the God I'm talking about. A race of people that communicate without syllables, spoken by your mouth. A race of people that are not limited to the molecular world. God is a race. And all of us are coming into the knowledge of God. Again, and presented with the truth that we are God. We are all fallen gods. We fell for a theory. We fell because we wanted free will. We wanted to think apart from the consciousness of God. And we created our suffering. We created this mess. And we live in the torment that torments each other and all of us, wanting each other's acceptance, validation, comfort, control, and to think we're right. Isn't that what we honor, exalt, and obey? Whatever thoughts we have that make us think we're right. We're right in our own eyes. Isn't that all anybody wants? When will we give up wanting to be right in our own eyes? Hear just what validates us. Go to church, say a little prayer, maybe raise our hands, maybe clap, give an offering, go home. Spend our lives working for a living, die, and think you'll go to heaven. We don't know what heaven is. We haven't known what God is. We haven't known the voice of God. We haven't come into it. We've been given a lie. We've been given a message. But all of that is changing. All of that is changing. We haven't understood God is a race. And in the allegory called the Bible, some call it the Christian Bible, it's Israel. Biblical Israel is not a place. It's not in the Mideast. Israel is a state of existence. Israel is a state that we all existed in before we fell, before time. Israel can be called our promised land, but it's a state of existence, not apart from God. And we are beginning to learn that this existence is not what we go to after we die. This state of existence is within you. It is the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is within you. The power of life and death is in your tongue. We haven't understood that. We've wanted to excel with our own thinking, in our own thinking, so that we validate in our own mind with the scientific method that we can reproduce the control of that which is around us, that which we see, that which we think. We have not allowed God to teach us, and teachers have not taught us to let God teach us directly, and they will be sorry, full of remorse. Many will be weeping and gnashing their teeth as God comes, as the revelation of God manifest in the humble, simple people who learn to let God teach them directly. You see, what is coming is the revelation of God. That begins with humility. And is sustained only in surrender. To be who we really are. Learning how to be what we really are. Not creating ourselves in separation again. For the new creation is here. The power of God is you. It's not in you, but it's you. Not of your flesh. So you can say, it's inside of me. But there's more to the story. The real power of God. The command center of God. The throne of God is between your ears. But we haven't known that. We've classed us as something created or something that's evolved. We've exerted our power to control our mind to be the mind of separation and do what we want to do to feel good about us, to be self-actualized, to have fun, acquire the accoutrements of this world. But this world isn't real. Not like we thought. And God isn't something afar off. God is not in you. God is you. Who want to think with your own mind. Who fell. Or did you just transfer into a different state of existence? I've spoken the first person words of God for 20 years that led me out of Christianity, led me out of organized religion, led me out of so much of what I knew to be right. Why did I think it was right? I was taught it. So I had all these assumptions that I grew up with as a child. I grew up and became a devoted zealot of religion. But you see, somehow I knew there was more. Sitting in church, hearing sermon after sermon, thousands and thousands of them in different churches. I knew there was more. I knew there was more than I had ever been taught. Finally, I decided that I needed to decide for myself what I believed rather than what everybody else taught me or what my parents believed or what the Christian Bible said. What do I believe? Do I believe just because some book says something? Do I believe the book, or do I believe an interpretation about a given verse? Or do I have an image of God? So I began a quest to know and decide what I believed. And it was a very serious quest over a period of months. Somehow in my mind, I wanted to get it down to the fewest number of words that conveyed what's my belief system. I suggest you do this as well. I spoke about it in the lesson, the video that I made yesterday. I call it Assignment 1. To decide what you believe and why you believe it. So in my process years ago, I finally got it down to 3 things. In just a few words, I decided that God exists, no matter what you call it. There's some type of higher power, greater intelligence, and a purity of love that existed. And for lack of a better word, I call it God. Creator, whether you call it source, universe, or anything else, is not important. The important thing is why you're doing what you're doing. What's your motive? What's your heart? It's not what is your mind saying to you. It's what are you hearing? What are you listening to? Who is providing you your words? What source is fashioning you with your own words? So I came to the conclusion, 1, God exists in some form or fashion. A higher power, a greater love. And 2, I decided God was not mute. God communicates because love communicates. Love is not silent. Love is not braggadocious. Love is not arrogant. Love is tender and kind. Love does not condemn. I decided whatever God is, God communicates. And 3, I decided if I wasn't hearing God, it wasn't God's fault. So I decided I must not know how to hear God. But based on my first 2 to beliefs, I could learn. I could learn to hear God. And I began to seek God. I began to learn to pray. I began to learn to pour out my heart. I had many experiences that I've spoken about in detail in various videos over the years. Who am I? I'm a simple guy who sought to know God from the mouth of God. I didn't want to know about God. I'd had years and years, my life up to then, full of stuff about God. I wanted to know first person God. I wanted to know God real and true. I didn't want any candy coating. I began to seek correction. And a prayer I prayed, maybe thousands of times, God correct me. You may think it unwise, but in my quest, over and over, I prayed, God correct me, beat me. I did. Beat me, but don't let me be deceived. Ask God to teach me and teach me to teach. And the way God came to me was here and there, a thought that I thought did not originate in my own source of my own rational intellect. That's why I have a video. There's a wrench in your garage. You can look that up. You can listen. There's a lot you can learn from me and the videos that I've recorded and my writings. They exist. I exist. For you to learn, to be taught by God directly. And God has told me things that took me 6 years to learn, I will help people get in 6 months. I don't want people to suffer as I did. There's a cost to knowing God. It's time, effort, energy, devotion, discipline, change. So what is coming? I titled this video, What is Coming? The knowledge of God to reveal in every person the revelation of God. That revelation of Christ, that you are it, if you surrender to be it. So that your consciousness is no longer afflicted by separation from the mind of God that you were before time began, and you still are. Unbeknownst to us, we have the power of life. And yet, we've quoted those words, some of us, many times, not actually operating in that power. So what's coming on the earth? The revelation of God, that God is you. God is a race. God is you who will be it. God coming in to the headship of one, the Christ, the head of Christ. You beginning to develop the consciousness of who you are creates the head of Christ on your shoulders. As you create the crown of life in you to wear the crown of life that is you, the body of, so that you are seamless. God is a race of light beings. And when we become born again, we resurrect from the state of being limited to flesh by our mind that has kept us here. We yield to the consciousness of Christ to experience the resurrection, to where we become no more limited by this body, no more limited by our mechanical mind, no more limited by words, syllables, no more limited by the magnetics of this world, no more limited by molecules. We become that which is what we have called, some of us, God. That state of existence that we were before we wanted to think, creating our own creation, falling in to it to be the separate us. So someone that is born again can do all the things Jesus did and more. And I suggest to you, no matter what you know about God or the Bible or what you've done or not done, or what you think, I suggest to you, no one has become the born-again Christ since Jesus. Jesus was the firstborn. But we didn't understand. The message got religionized, formalized, ecclesiasticalized, and the eyes of our understanding took the revelation of God from us that we're it. We learned how to learn a bunch of other things. But the revelation of God is coming now, and it's cataclysmic. And it's not like you thought. Certainly not like I thought. You see, the aspect of Jesus coming back, splitting the skies, setting up his kingdom, is not correct. Within those words are images controlled by definitions that each of us hold about what Jesus is. Jesus, a male. Jesus coming back, an entity. Jesus separate from us, when none of that is correct. The divine word of truth is feminine. The divine feminine is real. The divine feminine is not flesh. The divine feminine needs not the word of man to reproduce, but reproduces the word of God in itself, the power of, to exist in the state that all creation is created in. This is the fulfillment of the new covenant, spoken of in Jeremiah 31 and Hebrews 8. This is the time of the regeneration of God regenerating God to heal the earth and let the angels come home, no longer being like the story of the prodigal. Where is home? Home exists in the state of existence of our power being in the consciousness of God that God is a state of. Entering our promised land is becoming one with God where our mind is not separate. So we're becoming a race of light beings again, not subject to flesh, but can still operate in it, because when we become born again with the consciousness of Christ, completing the Christ to be the fullness of the Godhead bodily, we're not off somewhere else. We can operate on this earth as the visible us, but with power. Every person that becomes born again can do everything that Jesus did and more. Far more. The cosmos is full of light. Light people, light races that all connected are now no more afraid of each other. And common people will know this. And the hierarchies of religion will not defeat the humility of the heart who surrenders to be God in their shoes. And I am one. I am not yet all I am going to be, but I am going to be, not defeated by you who don't believe me. I have 20 years of writings and decades of pain and agony as I surrendered to learn. I have my words that I've written. I have my words that I've written in my covenant. I wrote a covenant of me. 10,000 pages, 2,400 lessons, 2,400 messages over some 8 years or so. You can search it online. I now have a school for what's coming to help people prepare for what's coming. It's the School of God, where simple people, as the most humble of all, a race of light beings on earth, no longer controlled by your messages, who don't believe we are one, a race of one mind. The consciousness of Christ pervades all with love, who will present no defense to the love of God, but surrender to be it in the shoes of one who looked like you. And where you have one, you will have many. And many will know and believe. And faith will no longer be about a God of other coming to heal you, coming back to do things for you. Faith will be in your surrender and your humility to learn, to speak, record, learn from, and become the words of God, the living word, and you become it. No longer ensconced in a book that someone calls it so misnamed. Cataclysmic things are coming on the earth. To those who reject their lineage, who simply want to believe their belief and remain in it. Many will die. Religion takes you to death. Love brings back your original identity. Thus, we are changing our identity. The race of flesh, now, who choose so, become the race of light. A race of light, interconnected throughout the cosmos and farther. And the state of existence that we enter in, the kingdom of heaven that we enter in before we die, now no more experiences death. A born again is immortal. Defeating the last enemy called death. And the power of the Most High is ours, us who will be it, not separate. So we yield our mind to the mind of I am. I am one. And ones will heal the earth and disrupt everything. Because we simple are beginning to walk in our power and humility and maturity. Have I said enough? The regeneration of God is cyclical Israel, not molecular. And the molecular will give way. And the torment that we have chosen in the past to torment ourselves and each other with will give way now to truth. And the truth of love will present itself in many choices for you to become it. And think with no other mind than the mind of God, which surrenders to condemn you no more. You are no longer condemning yourself as being unworthy to be God in your shoes, who will learn the humility of God and suffer no more to proclaim a belief theory that separates and then purports to redeem. The works of God and greater are coming now on the earth, being done by simple, humble people. Women will be Christ and not under men. And the patriarchy will no longer rule. Lots of changes come now, rapidly. The regeneration of God is here. Cataclysmic for some. All. Apocalyptic to all. Not in disruption, or will everything change now? Because you walk with the power of you. Are you willing to heal people? Are you willing to heal you? Are you willing to repent for what you've done? What did you do? You rejected being the real you, the power of light, love, and joy. Tormented now by your secular mind, or enjoying the fruits of your spiritual journey to discover your roots, discover who you are again. I am, coming in the simple, humble. I am one consciousness, whether I speak first person or third. And I redeem me for you to redeem you. There's no redemption of each other. Everyone decides for themselves. There's no other judgment. This is the judgment. This is the time you're judging you. Quit judging each other. Or judge. Are you supposed to? Yes, but judge righteously. But don't condemn each other. I'm Theodore Cottingham in Eureka Springs, a simple guy with the school of God that I've begun. At different times, I call it different names over the years. I've tried to start this school multiple times. I have so many words about it coming about. I invited many people. I've written many letters. Posted many documents and many videos. And now my power will be known. And I will do the things I want to do. As a man, not. Or am I God coming into the Godship of one to wear the crown of Christ because I've developed it through my words these years and surrendered to be it? I walk in humility and love. And now things will change because I wait no more. The time is now. Many devoted followers will now become leaders because I don't develop the followership of Christ. I develop people to be it in the words of one. And I am one. Are you willing to become one? Will you be the Christ in your shoes? Will you develop the consciousness of Christ, the head of Christ, to be a city on a hill, no longer hidden? Will your neurons be firing with light instead of darkness? What are you willing to do to know the truth? Will you become willing to become it? If you're willing to become it, you will taught be by the teacher. I am, and I am one. I am many ones. Then the fellowships of one will arise that won't operate like church. The fellowships of one operate as equals, where God speaks, and each one allows God to speak and develop the maturity. And children are not stashed off somewhere else to be dumbed down. And you'll no longer be in a pew sitting there listening to some expert proclaim their beliefs. You are responsible for you, and the earth shakes now, and everything will be shaken so that nothing will remain but what cannot be shaken. And the tree of life will grow new truth to no longer be afraid of you who want to keep your own mantle, your own word, with your own limitations and experience death. I have defeated death in my words, and now I shall do so as light. And light people will rejoice, and the word of God will go forth through the lips of the humble, who originate it to be the source of no other controlling them. One mind will originate mind of God again. This is coming, and cataclysmic is, and changes your commerce. And your complacency may be rattled, but I'm no more the snakes of religion, posing to be something I'm not. I am Christ in two shoes Cottingham, growing up to be God in my shoes. A race of light beings now come forth, the born again shall be one. Mind of God, healing the earth, restoring the earth. Heaven will be here again, because heaven, between our ears, starts here with our word. We the creators are of heaven, hell, and all that rejoices now will not be the religious, but the humble surrendered, me who will be me, not subject to your molecules. I have mine, and meons will not perish again, but me will be me, God as God. No longer torn apart by the church. So whether you have mastered many degrees, mastered your money, accumulated great wealth or not, I choose love. And love will speak, and love teaches love to be it. God exists. God is not mute. God communicates. And who will be God the surrendered will wear the mantle of light in light dresses, whose frequency is known among you to be the liberal I am, who accepts all. As equally we become one, wearing the crown of Christ. The message is one, and one will be many, and the race of light will be throughout the cosmos, and planets will be lit with love, and we will bear no pregnancies of earth again to keep us here. The words of light rejoice, and we birth them a mighty new. The hour of love. Care for your love and nurture it. Let there be light in you this day, and heal you with the seed of no other. You carry the seed of God, birth it in you by the living new covenant. Me being one, who's all one are many ones, and the mind of God will be begging no more for $1 or the acceptance of another. Heal your crown this day and walk in light. I'm Theodore Cottingham with the School of God in Eureka Springs. I love you all. Study these words. Please share them. Live them, love them. Come into the Word to be the living Word flowing, the new covenant me, who becomes you, the one we all are. The origination of God again, loving all to be the one loved by all. Thanks, love. Good day. I'm at Box 34 in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, USA. Write me this day if you like. Love me, be me. Learn to record your words and create a school for the beginners who will graduate. Beyond now, graduating in meology. Many schools teach my words to be freed from yours, to condemn each other. And mine will be freed, and love will live again, and planets will rejoice being born again everywhere the light whirls me. Thanks. See you, love. Good day.